Extra, we bring you the latest on the catastrophic landfall of Hurricane Otis in Mexico.
And we tell you when fall foliage is expected to reach its peak across central Alabama.
Plus, how long gone Hurricane Hillary brought new life to a California desert.
WBRC Fox 6 News. First Alert Weather Extra starts now.
And thanks for staying with us for First Alert Weather Extra. Joined now by meteorologist Tania Michelle and Lauren Linehan. You can start to see some of those fall colors here on Red Mountain.
Yes, it's so beautiful. It's my favorite time of year, Wes.
It is. It is so beautiful outside. I got to say, though, when I'm driving up Red Mountain, my windshield's so gross, I got to get it cleaned. There's been no rain to wash my car.
Well, you know, that
rain.
Usually,
yeah.
Wash the car. That might get us some rain. That usually works.
That costs money. So. I need Tania's fiance.
He's a detailer. Hit us up.
Hit him up to wash up the car. But yeah, we have been very dry, Wes, but looking good for those fall colors.
Yeah, certainly looking good. We could get a few showers by Monday. That's going to be one of the next big things we're watching. Let's talk about what's happening out there. We've got this dome of high pressure. You see it there to the south and east of us. Back to the west, we've got a lot of rain that's been marching north across Texas, parts of Oklahoma. And we're just you can see all that wet weather there. We're kind of wedged in between. That's one of the reasons why it's been kind of breezy with the pressure gradient across the region here. We've had a wind out of the southeast. You factor in breezy conditions, severe drought across the state, and on top of that, you know, you got the low relative humidities. That's one of the reasons why you've seen all these wildfire reports around the state of Alabama. There was actually another fire I noticed you can see from one of our cameras down towards the Oak Mountain area earlier, but just be extra careful out there. But it feels incredible. I mean, temperatures in the 70s right now, some of the nicest feeling conditions that we'll encounter throughout the entire year, and with it being so dry, a big drop in temperatures again tonight. You can see by 10 p.m. 66 degrees, and notice that breeze sticks around. So tonight it's still going to have that wind there out of the east-southeast direction. In the morning, went with low 60s, but we'll still see some upper 50s, especially over East Alabama, places like Gadsden and Center, Hopes Bluff early in the day. And then for the afternoon, back to summer-like warmth there with temperatures in the 80s. It's long sleeve sweater weather in the morning and shorts and flip-flops in the afternoon. It's that kind of setup right now. But tomorrow morning, more specifics on those low temperatures, and you can see Jasper to Fayette around 59 as well. So even for parts of West Alabama, you get further north in here closer to Hamilton and Double Springs in the morning. Coleman as well. Our friends here in Coleman County will see those temperatures there tumbling into the upper 50s. But a chilly start, and it looks like this pattern at least continues into Saturday and Sunday, but a big drop in temperatures on the way for early next week. We'll show you that. Plus, we're going beyond the 7-day later in the show.
Thanks, Wes. And a tropical update outside of the Atlantic Basin this evening. Hurricane Otis slammed into Mexico's southern Pacific coast earlier this morning after rapidly intensifying into a catastrophic Category 5 hurricane. Fox's Eben Brown has more from Miami.
Another dangerous hurricane slams into Mexico's Pacific coast. Hurricane Otis strikes the southern Pacific state of Guerrero as a powerful Category 5 storm early Wednesday, making landfall just 25 miles northwest of Acapulco, a city of 1 million people and a popular destination for American tourists. Ahead of the storm, residents were battening down the hatches as local officials warned those who could leave should get out of town as soon as possible.
We are inviting the population to leave because the hurricane can cause a strong surge and heavy rains.
After making landfall, Otis was downgraded to a Category 4 hurricane, and it is expected to continue weakening as it heads further inland. But the massive amount of rain is prompting fears of flash flooding. It's expected to be 15 inches in some areas, meaning beaches and other areas popular with tourists will remain off limits for now.
The waves rise all the way up to here, and then nobody else can come at this hour or later because there aren't even lifeguards at this time.
The storm came just 3 days after Hurricane Norma hit southern Baja, bringing high winds and heavy rain to resort cities like Cabo San Lucas. Residents there are now cleaning up and assessing the damage.
The problem with the weather here is when the rainy season comes, it is the spillage of sand onto streets. All that sand is pushed by the water.
Meanwhile, over in the Atlantic, Hurricane Tammy is still moving northeast towards Bermuda. It is expected to become a powerful cyclone by Thursday. In Miami, Eben Brown, Fox News.
And Hurricane Otis has since weakened to a Category 1 hurricane after moving over land, but is now one of the strongest hurricanes on record to hit Mexico. And back in the U.S., an interesting sight has popped up in California's Death Valley. More than 2 months after historic rainfall from Hurricane Hillary, the driest place in North America, yes, you heard us, the driest place, is now sprouting lakes and flowers. The National Park Service says Badwater Basin, which is the lowest point in North America, is new home to a temporary lake, which is several miles long. Hillary dumped a year's worth of rain across Death Valley in just 24 hours. Damage from Hillary in Death Valley was so severe that the park was closed from late August to mid-October, which is the longest closure in its history. Wes?
Wow, we got flowers in Death Valley, we got dry weather here, and as we're getting closer to the peak of fall colors in central Alabama, meteorologist Matt Daniel and Mickey Ferguson join us now with an update on the fall foliage forecast.
All right, Matt, it's that time of the year when the leaves begin to change, and we used to use that word foliage. Foliage? Foliage? How do you say it?
What you just said.
Foliage.
Let's show you what it looks like
Foliage?
at the moment while Mickey questions the word. We're looking at some of those yellow colors showing up. This is the latest update for this week, meaning some low colors. I'm noticing those colors are starting to pop in spots.
Maybe a few yellers.
Yeah.
Not the deeper colors of orange and brownish.
That's right, but hey, let's look at the forecast going into 1 week. And by the way, this is all from Explore Fall from Evan Fisher. So thank you for all this information and
Thanks,
data.
Evan.
But yeah, check this out. Looking at those orange colors really popping.
One little pocket of green that says, nope, no fall there.
That's right.
but everywhere else there is.
That's right. And hey, if you look at when it normally peaks in yellow and orange, early November, mid-November. So now is the time to really take a close look at those leaves. And we love to see photos, and we're already getting a few people sending those photos in.
You could send a succession of trees, the same tree, and watch it change and edit it.
Could you imagine a time lapse?
Oh.
Here's an example right here. Janet Whitney submitted this through our First Alert Weather app. I guess going for a little bit of a walk at Oak Mountain.
Janet.
So that is a beautiful view. And here's another view from that trail. Look at that. Blue
Very
skies.
artistic, Janet.
I like it. So very cool. And you got some photos sent in to you, Mickey.
Yeah, through, I think, Facebook. Someone sent this in. Craig Bradley. Now, Craig, he's up in Tennessee. This is East Fork Stables near Jamestown, Tennessee. And look at that plumage.
Wow.
Isn't that gorgeous?
Nothing can beat that picture, surely.
And this bush in the foreground looks like horse ears.
It is.
It is a horse? Oh, yeah, he was riding a horse. So he was riding a horse through, I guess that's why they call it East Fork Stables, because that's where they keep the horses.
That's a magnificent picture, though.
It really is.
That just pops.
I kind of want to go to East Fork Stables now. All right, if you want to send in pictures, first you download the First Alert Weather app, and then you scroll down, you see where it says photos and videos. You can send videos, too.
That's right.
And then we can share some of those pictures right here on Weather Extra. We might share them in our shows as well, other shows.
Yeah.
Like Good Day Alabama, Good Day Extra.
4, 11, noon. Anyways, yeah, looking forward to it. They're really going to ramp up in colors over the next several weeks, so I'm looking forward to seeing them.
Foliage. Foliage.
No, that works.
Foliage.
I think I might have just said foliage as well. I mean, yeah, it happens, right? So we talked a little bit yesterday about super fog, and if you've never heard that term before, it caused some major accidents across parts of Louisiana yesterday. We were talking about during the morning commute some of the accidents that happened. Well, we've got an interesting explainer about what super fog's all about, and plus coming up, I mentioned the 7-day forecast and going beyond the 7-day as we continue after just 30 seconds.
Welcome back to Weather Extra. As Wes was just mentioning, less than 48 hours ago, a devastating pileup on I-55 in Louisiana. This left 7 people dead and almost 180 vehicles were part of this pileup. And you'll notice around the cars that it looks kind of cloudy outside, but it wasn't necessarily the clouds up in the sky that were the problem. We want to show you exactly what superfog is and why that was an issue. So we talk about here in Alabama, oftentimes we can have foggy mornings, but if you think about Louisiana, we've been talking about how here in Alabama we've been under a drought. They've been even under worse drought conditions. So what happened is that along I-55, which runs up Louisiana, there was actually a marsh fire that developed, and that marsh fire that developed, those wetland fires from those extreme drought conditions, even though you've got the wetlands, they're much drier than they normally would be. So the smoke that was from those was actually traveling farther towards I-55, and that is all result because of the wind direction. You were seeing these southwest winds in place that were helping to propel the smoke towards these foggy areas. So you had over I-55 already some fog that had developed. And when you have fog develop at the surface, basically what happens is you have the air temperature cool to the dew point. The dew point tells us how much moisture is in the atmosphere. So when you see the temperature and the dew point the same, that's where fog can develop at the surface. But what you'll notice is that with those wetland fires, the smoke from that was being propelled towards where that fog was. So you had not only the dense fog at the surface that was already reducing visibility, but you also had the smoke from those wetland fires farther away from I-55 that were being propelled towards that. So it was almost like a 1-2 punch. So you had the reduced visibility from the fog, and then the smoke reduced that even more. So unfortunately, a very dangerous situation, not something we often see here, but we definitely need some rain just like our friends over in Louisiana. So still ahead on Weather Extra, the warm and dry weather going to be sticking around. This pattern seems like it refuses to let up, but there may be some hope on the horizon. Plus, the Magic City Classic is just around the corner. We help you cook up a storm with a new tailgate snack to serve this weekend. We'll be right back.